Today's video is a follow-up on my previous video. The topic is how to create an easy employee evaluation form. Hi, my name is Hopfe. I am a human resources consultant. To start with, to create your employee evaluation form, I know I touched on this a little bit, but I'll try to give you just a little bit more detail. You want to pick 3 to 5 questions. Your review is going to be half a page long. Very little room for notes. Your questions are going to be simple questions. Your questions are going to be general questions. They're going to be consistent questions. They're going to be questions that matter. So you can't change your evaluation form every time, because as soon as you change the questions, you can no longer properly compare it to previous evaluations. So you got to be comparing the apples to apples, not the apples to the oranges. These questions you've got to think about are the questions that are used all across your organization. I talk a lot about office organizations, but these work really well for like a construction organization, because the foremen who are on site can take these little sheets and do one a day. So figure out what questions are going to work for you. I can't give you the exact question. I can give you a few ideas. Is this person a good communicator? Does this person complete their tasks on time? Is this person skilled in their role? Does this person work well in the team? These sorts of questions. You're going to have to look at the different jobs in your organization. Which ones work for all of them? Because you might have people in the office, you might have people in the field. Find your right questions. And as much as possible, get those questions decided on before you start. Every time you do the evaluation, if you've altered the questions, then you're not going to be able to compare it properly with the previous stuff. Your questions are going to be scorable. I like to use 0 to 4. The lowest rating being 0, the highest rating being 4. And if your question has to be a yes or no question, then you will rate no as 0 and yes as 1. So then you can score those up properly with the rest of the questions. Now, I like the rating legend of something like this. If someone gets a 0, this is lowest or no performance, needs massive support, must improve before next evaluation. So you really got to work with this person to improve that score before they get evaluated again. A number 1 would be low performance, and this person needs support. So you got to figure out how can you support this person so they can get better. If you score them a 2, that's an average performance. That's basically good. But you need to ask them if they need any support, because we forget about these average people in our organizations. They are basically the bedrock of our organizations, and they're the ones that kind of keep everything chugging along. And you've got to remember to ask them, do you need help? Now, if you score someone a 3, this is good performance. They may be considered for a pay raise or a promotion if it stays this high for 6 to 12 months or 6 to 12 reviews, because it's good performance. It's better than the average. The 4 and the 1, or the 4 and the 0, are only used in the extreme cases. You've got to really remind your supervisors and the managers who are doing these reviews. You don't just give out a 0 or a 4 willy-nilly. These are serious situations. So the 4 is best performance. And consider a pay raise or promotion if it stays this high for 3 to 6 months, right? So this is a serious situation. If someone is consistently getting 4s, and you got to remember, this is your rock star. There's very few people in your organization that are going to get 4s. So you're going to add up that total score and you're going to track it. If they get below 50%, that's bad. And you got to work with them. If they get 50 to 75%, that's average to good. That's where you want everybody to be. 50 to 75%, great. It's good. If they are 75% or higher with all their scores, then that's really good. That's a very good employee. Again, I mentioned in my previous video that the supervisors who are doing these employee evaluations can also be evaluated in how they do this. If they're always giving somebody a low mark, that may be a sign of racism or bias in some way. If they're always giving a high mark to someone, this may be a sign of favoritism or halo bias. So you've got to remind your supervisors they can't just give all their buddies a high mark. Or worse yet, I've seen supervisors that just give everyone a 4 in their whole team. And that's not fair to anybody. Because if there really is somebody in that team that's struggling, we need to know so that we can help them and get them being a better employee. So having a great supervisor who gives everyone 4s all the time, that's not good. Because in actuality, when they're trying to make it, the supervisor might be thinking, oh, it'll make me look good because all my team get 4s all the time. Well, in actuality, that's a red flag for management to say, why are you giving everyone 4s when you know your team isn't that good, right? Like, you better have some amazing numbers. You better be just this amazing rock star team if you're giving all 4s. Like, seriously. That might be next to impossible to see, right? Or to create a team that good. So what you want to do is now and again have a different supervisor or a different manager do the reviews. And so it's an adjacent supervisor, adjacent manager that knows most of that team, that they can kind of give a better, I don't want to say better, possible different review. If you got a supervisor who's giving the 4s to everybody, maybe their manager will look at their team and say, oh no, wait a minute. You've got a bunch of 2s and 1 3, right? Like, it could be that they just don't understand the rating system and how they should be using it. But having a different manager or a different supervisor come in will allow you to maybe catch these issues. I hope that gave you more detail about it. Keep it as simple as possible, because you don't want to be spending a week filling out a performance evaluation. That's dreadful. But if you can fill them out in 5 minutes and have a quick meeting, that's almost fun. As a supervisor or manager, you should be thinking, this is fun. This is part of my job. I like doing this. So that's the attitude you want. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you very, very much. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you have some follow-up questions about this, please put them in the comments and I will try to answer them. Thanks. Bye.